Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my booktube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today we're already going to talk about my June to be read. And as you all know, June is Pride Month, and I just love to read my LGBTQIA+ books in June. So I even decorated a little bit. I put my pride flag here. It's a little bit worse for the wear because it's pretty old. I got it at Pride in 2019, before all of COVID happened. So yeah, I've cherished it ever since, and it's been in every LGBTQIA+ video I ever made, I think. Anyway, I put up my pride flag and I decided to go for LGBTQIA+ reads. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, but this time around, it are two books I'm totally ready to dive into. I've wanted to read them both for ages, and people have been talking about them or raving in one case about them for a very long time. So I'm very curious if I will enjoy those two books as much as the others did so far. And I'm also going to read a third book, which is going to be a buddy read. It's not an LGBTQIA+ book, at least not that I know. But yeah, I said I would do this buddy read in June, so I'm going through with it and I'm ready because I've never done a buddy read with Bia before, and I honestly can't wait to buddy read a book with her. Okay, so before I continue to babble, I will just jump into the first two books. And the first book I wanted to read, and I've been dying to read for quite a while now, is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. And honestly, people have been raving about this one so much that I just wanted to buy it and read it immediately. But of course I can't do that. My life is, I'm just going to get a little bit more in the front because the cupboard is constantly clicking behind me. Okay, back to the book. I wanted to read this book for a very long time now. I love the gorgeous cover. The cover is amazing. I immediately knew this would be a book I would have to buy because there's no way my library would have it. It's just too new release for them to have it at the library, and well, LGBTQIA+ books, they try to do better. They got a lot of them recently, but usually not the new releases. Anyway, let's get back to this book. A Taste of Gold and Iron has been talked about so often, but funnily enough, I still don't know a lot about it. I know that everyone who read All for the Game loved this book as well, and that it's apparently an slow burn romance. Those are the two facts I know. And as far as I could tell from the blurb, it's about a prince named Carew, and he kind of recently fell in the disgrace of his family because apparently he doesn't get along with the husband or with the boyfriend, I don't know, of the queen, or it's described actually as the father of the queen's child. So he doesn't get along with this man, and the queen is apparently his sister. So he fell into disgrace with his sister, which is never good, especially if you are a royal or heir to a throne. So he wants to make it right, and he is sent to investigate a break-in at one of the guilds and takes his bodyguard Evermore with him. And yeah, this is going to be a prince bodyguard romance, which I'm very curious about. Apparently it's also in some sort of historical setting. I might be wrong with that, but it just sounds like it. So I'm so curious about Carew and Evermore. I heard so many good things about them. The fan art I saw on Instagram really persuaded me to pick this one up. And yeah, I'm pretty certain in my June wrap up I will rave about this one. I'm about 80% certain that I will rave about this one non-stop in my next wrap up video, but we will see, we will find out. So that was the first book I want to read in June. And the second book I want to read in June is a book I got as an ARC because I signed up for the ARC team. And if you've wondered, it's Our Satyr Prince by Dylan Drakes. And this book, I'm so pumped to read this book. It will actually be released in June. So I was so lucky to get an ARC and to be friends with Dylan, because Dylan and we have a very fun friendship. I don't even know when we started to shoot messages to each other, but it must have been a while ago. We both just hit it off right from the moment we started to talk. I think he was actually the first to follow me and I followed back. And then I found out he's an author and is going to release his book. And from there on out, our messages were just easy banter and fun. So he's really such a nice and kind person. He is a lot of fun to talk to. And if only just a little amount of the humor he has is in his book, I'm so going to enjoy the hell out of it. Okay, enough of Dylan. I probably will make an author interview on my channel with him here. I asked him and he actually said yes. So he will probably be the first author who's going to do an interview on my channel with me. This is going to be an interesting experience, but I think he will add a lot of fun to the conversation, so I'm pretty certain it will go well. And as for what Our Satyr Prince is about, so I wrote down a couple of notes here so that I can speak about it for roughly and that I don't get anything wrong. Okay, here goes nothing. I will just talk about the book. So it's about a prince named Aurelius, and Aurelius seems to be the sort of bad boy of the court, and he fell in disgrace with his family. So he seems to be a very flirty personality. He apparently slept his way back into hierarchy, as far as I could tell from the blurb. He seems to be such a fun character, honestly. When I read his character sheet on Instagram, I will make sure to put Dylan's Instagram down there, just so you can check it out as well. Maybe you're interested to read his book too. So if this sounds like it would be your cup of tea, you totally should check out his Instagram page and pre-order the book. It's really cheap. I think he recently said it's 99 cents or so. So quite honestly, it's his first book and I always like to support new authors, and Dylan really deserves it. He's such a nice and kind person. And I hope I will like his book. So please, Dylan, I really hope I will love your book and will only have to say good things about it. Okay, enough of that. Back to the book. So Aurelius fell into disgrace with his family and there's a war looming at the horizon, and he wants to make amends and wants to get back in the good graces and be not disinherited anymore. So he strikes a deal with Calix, and Calix is a prince of the Kingdom of Andorra, I think, if I remember it correctly. Yes, I wrote it down there. He's the crown prince of Andorra. Okay, and he strikes a deal with him that he will help him in the war. And his cousin is a warrior, Aurelius' cousin. I'm talking about Aurelius' cousin here, is a warrior, and she seems to fall for another dangerous woman as well, and she's accompanying Aurelius on his journey with Calix. So the interesting thing about this book is, and that's what makes me really curious about it, it's a queer fantasy. It's an MM relationship, and it also has an FM relationship. Yes, you heard right. Apparently it has a lot of other queer representation as well, so those things are already great. But then it's also inspired by ancient Greece, so that's even more right up my alley. And it's supposed to be spicy, so that's always a plus. And last but not least, it has a lot of different creatures in it. We have satyrs, we have, what else? I wrote down werewolves, vampires, phoenixes, gorgons. So, wow, this sounds so perfect and right up my alley and exactly like my kind of cup of tea. And I honestly can't wait to read this, and I put it on my June to be read exactly for that reason, because it seems to have a lot of representation, and I dig my LGBTQIA plus representation in books. So yeah, Dylan's book, I'm very curious about his book, and I'll definitely make sure to speak about it in my wrap up at length. And as already said, I will invite Dylan for an interview as well, so this is going to be fun. I'm pretty certain we will have a lot of fun. Okay, and the last book. And now I'm breaking my rule of only reading 2 books a month, but I said I wanted to do this buddy read with Bia, and Bia said she has time in June. So we decided to go for Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. And this book sounds really interesting. It's a romance, of course, but as you can tell from the title, it's also some sort of murder mystery. And as for what the book is about, it's about Finlay Donovan, who is a mom of 2 and is struggling with her book. She's a writer, and with life in general, I think. I mean, if you have 2 kids, that's not easy to handle. And with an ex-husband who apparently seems to be out of the picture as well, it's even harder, let alone to be able to write a book. To write a book is pretty hard as well, so yeah. She is very swamped with a lot of work and doesn't know how to write her book, so she meets her agent for lunch and discusses the plot of her new book with her agent. And apparently she's overheard by another woman, and after that conversation the woman approaches her and thinks she is an assassin or a contract killer, and asks her if she can kill her husband. And funnily enough, Finlay says yes, which immediately seems to get her into the middle of a murder investigation. So yeah, the plot of this book sounds very interesting. I'm very curious how this is going to play out, and I'm so pumped and ready for that buddy read with Bia at Mama Needs to Read Romance, because Bia and we've basically hit it off exactly like Dylan and I hit it off. We started to write via our channels, then we started to add each other on Instagram, and it's been a fun friendship ever since. So I'm totally ready to dive into this book with Bia and to read it, and I'm sure we both will have a lot of fun reading this one. So okay, I think that's it with my to be read for June so far. And have you read any of the books I just spoke about? Except of course of our Satyr Prince, because this book will be released in June. It's not out yet, but well, maybe you were fortunate enough to get an arc as well. I don't know. Probably you already read it and are also watching my channel. Who knows? Things happen. It could be coincidence. Okay, anyway, does it sound interesting to you? Would you want to see an interview with Dylan on my channel? I'd really love to hear your thoughts on that, because I never did an author's interview before and it just seems to be fun, and I just want to try it if I can do it. And well, I always like a challenge, so I'll go for it. and Dylan will go for it with me too. So at least we're together in this. Okay, enough. I think I'm already at the ending of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you are going to read in June and what you are going to pick for Pride Month. I'd really love to get a couple of new LGBTQIA plus recommendations from you, if you have any for me. And I guess there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!